Open Book Genesis 31 Dow Reams 1899 American edition. 1 But after that he heard the words of the sons of Laban, saying, Jacob have taken away all that was our father's, and being enriched by his substance is become great. 2 And perceiving also that Laban's countenance was not towards him as yesterday and the other day. 3 Especially the Lord saying to him, Return into the land of thy fathers, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. 4 He sent, and called Rachel and Leah into the field, where he fed the flocks. 5 And said to them, I see your father's countenance is not towards me as yesterday and the other day, but the God of my father hath been with me. 6 And you know that I have served your father to the uttermost of my power. 7 Yea, your father also hath overreached me, and hath changed my wages 10 times, and yet God hath not suffered him to hurt me. 8 If at any time he said, The speckled shall be thy wages, all the sheep brought forth speckled, but when he said on the contrary, Thou shalt take all the white ones for thy wages, all the flocks brought forth white ones. 9 And God hath taken your father's substance, and given it to me. 10 For after that time came of the youth conceiving, I lifted up my eyes and saw in my sleep that the males which leapt upon the females were of divers colors and spotted and speckled. 11 And the angel of God said to me in my sleep, Jacob. And I answered, Here I am. 12 And he said, Lift up thy eyes, and see that all the males leaping upon the females are of divers colors, spotted and speckled. For I have seen all that Laban hath done to thee. 13 I am the God of Bethel, where thou didst anoint the stone and make a vow to me. Now therefore arise, and go out of this land, and return into thy native country. 14 And Rachel and Leah answered, Have we anything left among the goods and inheritance of our father's house? 15 Hath he not counted us as strangers, and sold us, and eaten up the price of us? 16 But God hath taken our father's substance, and given it to us, and to our children, wherefore do all things that God hath spoken to thee. 17 Then Jacob arose, and set his sons and his wives upon camels. 18 And carried away all his substance, and all the cattle that he had gotten in Mesopotamia, and went to Isaac his father into the land of Canaan. 19 Now Laban was gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel stole the idols of her father. 20 And Jacob would not acknowledge to Laban the Syrian that he fled. 21 And when he was gone over the river, he directed his course towards Mount Gilead. 22 And it was told Laban on the 3rd day that Jacob was fled. 23 And he took his brethren with him, and pursued after him 7 days, and overtook him in the mount of Gilead. 24 And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said to him, Take heed thou speak not anything harshly against Jacob. 25 And Laban overtook him. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and he with his brethren was encamped in the same mount of Gilead. 26 And he said to Jacob, Why hast thou done thus to carry away my daughters as captives taken with the sword? 27 Why wouldst thou hide thy flight and deceive me, and wouldst not tell me, that I might conduct thee with joy and with songs and with timbrels and with harps? 28 Thou hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and daughters, thou hast done foolishly, and now indeed thou mayst go. 29 It is in my power to return the evil, but the God of your father said to me yesterday, Take heed thou speak not anything harshly against Jacob. 30 Suppose thou didst desire to go to thy friends, and hadst a longing after thy father's house, why hast thou stolen my gods? 31 Jacob answered, I fled unknown to thee through fear, lest thou wouldst take away thy daughters from me by force. 32 But as for thy gods, whom thou hast found with thee, let him not live. Before our brethren search thou what is thine, and take it away. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen the idols. 33 Then Laban went into the tent of Jacob, and of Leah, and of the 2 handmaids, and found nothing. And when he was come into Rachel's tent, 34 She made haste, and hid the idols in the camel's litter, and sat upon them, and when he had searched all the tent, and found nothing. 35 She said, Let not my lord be grieved that I cannot rise up before thee, because it is now come to pass according to the custom of women. So his search was in vain. 36 And Jacob being angry, expostulated with Laban and said, What is my crime? What have I done, that thou hast so hotly pursued after me? 37 Whereas thou hast rummaged all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household goods? Set it here before my brethren, and thy brethren, and let them judge between us. 38 Have I been with thee 20 years? Thy ewes and she-goats were not barren, I fed not the rams of thy flocks. 39 That which was torn in pieces by wild beasts I brought not unto thee. I made good all the damage whatsoever was lost by Geft, was exacted by thee from my hand. 40 In the day I suffered heat, and frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. 41 So I served thee 20 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy flocks, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. 42 If the God of my father Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not stood by me, thou hadst now sent me away empty. But God hath seen my affliction, and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesterday. 43 Laban answered him, The daughters are mine, and the sons and thy flocks, and all things which thou seest are mine. What can I do to my children, and to their grandchildren? 44 Come therefore, let us enter into a league, that it may be for a testimony between me and thee. 45 And Jacob took a stone, and set it up for a title. 46 And he said to his brethren, Bring hither stones. And they gathering together stones, made a heap, and they ate upon the heap. 47 Which Laban called the witness heap, and Jacob the mound of testimony. 48 And said, This heap shall be a witness between me and thee today. And therefore the name thereof was called Galeah, that is, the witness heap. 49 The Lord behold and judge between us, when we shall be gone one from the other. 50 If thou afflict my daughters, and bring in other wives over them, there is no witness between us but God, who seeth all things. 51 And he said again to Jacob, Behold this heap, and the stone which I have set up between me and thee. 52 Shall be witness, and this heap shall be a testimony, that neither I will pass beyond it to thee, nor thou shalt pass beyond this heap and stone to me, intending evil. 53 The God of Abraham, and the God of Nachor, and the God of their father judge between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. 54 And when he had offered sacrifices in the mountain, he called his brethren to eat bread, and when they had eaten, they tarried there all night. 55 And Laban rose up in the night, and kissed his sons and daughters, and blessed them, and returned to his place.